Hello guys, welcome back. So finally we have our model back here in Maya now, and we can start do our topologizing. For the lace, I just need to make a soft edge and it should work. For the metal parts, what I need to do is do some simplification. So I think those two pieces are fine. Let me do a separate, or actually grab those. Grab this model actually, and let's do a separate, right? And then delete history. Let me grab this guy and think I don't need this little line here, so just delete it, and also that line. And yeah, I think that's good enough. Okay, do the same thing on this guy. So this line and this line, and the others are kind of needed. Yeah, okay. So based on the game engine, right? If you're doing a real-time rendering, sometimes the model is not the case, not what's causing the performance. So you just don't worry too much. It's the material and shader, and also a whole lot of model that would cause the problem. Okay, so yeah, let me just soften the edge. Should be fine. Okay, and for these guys, I think I can just delete 3 of the loops. Right, we don't really need. Alright, let's do the same thing here. If you want to keep them the same, which you kind of wanted to, because then you can have the same kind of like UV, and then you do one step at a time, so you're sure that you're making the same model, making them into the same model. Okay, what else? Yeah, so here, I think I can just grab all 3 and just merge. All right. Okay, so try to simplify it if it's possible. For what's happening here, I can maybe get rid of these lines altogether because they don't really contribute to anything. Or I can say, how about these lines? Yeah, these lines. Keep the middle one. Yeah, that feels better. I can do the same thing to the front. So this line, and this line, and this line, and this line. Same thing on the other side. Okay, so they're just 4 quads. Yeah, okay. So again, just double click to grab this line and this line. Just the 2 lines that's away from the center, right? So you keep the center line. You delete the 2 lines that's adjacent to it. Right, these guys. That's gonna give you just quads. Oh, that's done already. That's done already. This one needs some work. I forget to merge these 3. Right, try to simplify your model if that's possible. Especially if you're going for like a game engine, or even not for that, but you know, even for the animated short, simplifying it is not for the performance, right? It's for the later stages like rigging, right? It's much more easier to rig if the geometry is simpler. And here we could also try to get rid of those triangles, but I think maybe it's fine, right? We don't really worry too much about that, because you know, refining that just takes a lot of time, and you know, and you may get away with it. And if that's true, then spending all those time will be useless, because the audience doesn't know you did something here to just make it a little bit better, technical wise. But again, if Grandma think this is fun, if she doesn't see that the problem, then it should be okay. Anyway, all right. So let me combine these back together. Okay. And then one thing I can do is just give them UVs. Oh, so I don't have to combine them. That's right. So I don't want to combine them yet. I wanted to do the UV and then combine them. Let me separate these two also. So for the UV, we can go for a UV and planar projection on this guy. Okay. And then I can maybe cut it open here. To actually we need to go to the UV mode, of course. So go to the workspace and UV editing. Reset the current workspace. Okay. And here I can use shift and red mouse button, shift and a red mouse button, go cut. That should allow me to cut this guy off. And for this piece here on the bottom, I just need to cut it open. Maybe cut it open on those three. So this line, and that line. Cut it again, shift and red mouse button, cut, and then go grab everything and do a unfold. I know this is not perfect, but it's fine. It's workable, right? I'm not gonna put a lot of really fine-tuned, recognizable detail at all. Probably some noise on the reflectivity, or sorry, the roughness. So I don't really need to make it perfect. Same thing here. So this guy, double click there and there. Maybe just these lines across the whole. Cut these guys, do a unfold, and call it a day, the day, right? So yeah. And as you can see, why those things are elaborate, because you have to deal with their small tiny little UVs, and you have many of those. So you grab this guy and this guy, you can try to do a mesh transfer attribute. You use the topology and you transfer UV set and apply. That should transfer the UV over to the other guy. Sometimes, if not, let's try component. Doesn't work. Maybe we have different geometry. Can hardly see though. How about this? Let me project it first. Okay, and try to see if I can transfer over. Doesn't work on topology or component, so I guess I can't. Oh well, so I just need to cut it the same way then. That means first of all, cut those guys off. I could also just duplicate that guy and replace what I'm having here, right? But I want to keep the original positioning. So maybe just some extra elaborate work. And that usually works actually when you do transfer attribute, but sometimes it just doesn't. Okay, so that's that for this piece. I believe we cut it, these guys. Okay, so unfold, right shift and red mouse button, unfold, or control U, I believe, is the shortcut. And then you just, yeah. Alright, so that's gonna be the two UVs. We don't have to organize the UV yet, but we can at least unwrap them. So that can be combined together now. For these guys, let's see. Again, let me grab everything and do a planar projection, and then let's see if we can just do one and transfer UV over, right? So let me just double click on that. Okay. And then maybe just keep the back from cut it out and just do a cut and then do a unfold. Okay. All right. Again, not perfect, but good enough. Okay. And let's try to transfer the UV. Oh, I'm not transferring UV. Let's reset the settings. I forget to do that. Stupid. Yeah, it should work. That's right. Topology. Apply that. Yeah, I could have actually just do that. If the topology doesn't work, you use component. If that doesn't work, that means they're not the same. So this guy is a little different. Maybe I didn't do something. Yeah, I forget to delete that line here. Also this line. Yeah, let's try that again. So this guy and this guy to apply. Yeah, now that works. So now we have all these guys unwrapped. We can combine them together, and we can temporarily organize them by doing a grab out the UVs and do a layout UVs. And use default settings. And what we want to do is we want to prescale with the preserve 3D ratio, and then apply. That should allow us to scale them the same way. Okay, now they will be eventually combined together with other parts of the show anyway, so I don't really worry about putting them together in a very nice way. Okay, all right. So when they're done, I can go give them a name, show or boot metal parts, and then Control H to hide it. All right. So for this guy, the shoelaces. What we can do is we can do a planar projection also. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab the metal parts. So this one and this one. Go to face mode, Control and right mouse button to face two faces. Actually, after grabbing those 2 points, right, and Control right mouse button, grow selection, grow. Keep growing a little bit more, and one more loop, right. In the 2D viewport or UV editor, shift and right mouse button, you go create UV shell and you can drag it away. Right. So we can deal with those guys later. For the rest, I'm gonna grab all the lines here and then do a cut. Okay. And then I'm gonna do modify unit heights to put them into U1V1 space. Okay. And then I'm gonna grab one of the lines across the middle. Make sure that you deselect from the metal parts, and then you holding down shift and you drag through this entire model to reverse your selection, and again holding down control and drag over those metal parts to deselect these guys, and shift and right mouse button go for move and sew edges. That's gonna move and sew them together and give you zits. Okay, and that's gonna be the UV for the shoelace. The reason we're not doing a actual unfold like this is because they're having this jaggedy like variations. That could be okay, but that could also be problematic when you wanted to apply a repetitive like sewing pattern on it. But I think this is actually not bad. I think this is not bad. We can probably just use this actually, because it is fairly straight. So I think I can just use this because this one does not have that much of a stretching. Okay, but I do want it to cut it somewhere. So let's see. Let me grab these guys like a third, right? Create UV shell and drag it over. Face mode and grab all these guys, and then create UV shell and drag it over here. And that's how our 3 UV pieces. Okay, and for the metal parts, let me Control 1 twice to isolate that. So what I can do is just cut it open like this. Okay. hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Oh yeah, I'm actually cutting this one, that's why. Okay. So, oh, I think I'm cutting open everything. I can sew something back, maybe that line here. And that line, so that they can be together, unfold, right? And we can do the same thing for the other guy. Just, yeah, we have the two lines. Okay, and we just cut it there, and also there, and also there. Okay, and cut it, and then we unfold these guys, and we sew some part back. Okay, and then we unfold. And again, we will organize those things later on. For now, it's just unwrapping them. So that's done. Let me unparent it and call this guy boot lace UV, or just boot lace. We do have this weird column thing. That's because in the window general editors and namespace editor, we have all those inputted namespaces. So we can delete and merge with parent or merge with root. That should just delete all these things that we don't need. Okay, now all that left for us to do is this piece, which we'll move on to the next video and deal with the topology of the man boot body. Okay, see you next time.